Who of you loves returns? Hands up. Some of you, but very few. So we from docdata, we love returns. It's part of our business. And with this presentation, I would like to show you a way of how you probably not love returns, but like them at least a little bit. So how we look at international returns management is, we heard that many times, it's all about customer experience. So we have to make the customer happy. And imagine you are online, doesn't matter if you're with your mobile device or on the computer. You have found the web shop. You have found finally the product that you want to buy. You put it into your basket, and then you click on buy. You pay, and everything is very, very smooth and very nicely and very customer friendly. But what happens then? You wait. And it doesn't matter if you have to wait like 2 hours or 2 days or 2 weeks, you're waiting. And nobody likes waiting. So when the parcel then finally arrives at your home, it has to be very good. And it has to be in a way that it makes the consumer happy. So, but what happens if the shoe doesn't fit, literally? You have a disappointed person, and with textiles or in the fashion industry, and especially in Europe and more especially in Germany, you have 50% of the items that you send out will be returned. The most important reason why you probably don't like returns is the matter of cost. And there was a research from MetaPack and Gartner together, and they found out that 30% of the shoppers find it difficult to return. 51% thinks the process is too complicated. 58% don't want to pay for returns. And the most important number, I think, is here on the right, down. 83% would shop more if the returns process is easier. How do you start? Usually you start with your return, your distribution or fulfillment center in your home country. And you start sending out the parcels, and this usually works pretty good as long as you stay in your own country, but it gets complicated when you are delivering cross-border. And when the people return, they have to return it to the central hub. What do you produce with that? You produce incredibly high cost for the parcel. And what is even more important, you have really, really long lead times. And this would mean the people wait to get their money back for a very long time. And really, nobody likes that. So what is the next step? Looking at a company like Asos, so these are numbers from the last financial report, 26% growth year to year, 52% international sales growth from year to year, and 60% of the revenue is international in the meantime. More than 15 million orders shipped. So you can't do that growth and you can't do this business with just one fulfillment center. And the first step before you get to more fulfillment centers is that you consolidate the transport. So you offer your customers a local address in the country. So they don't have to send it back to your home country, but they send it back to their home country. So in France, Germany, wherever. And from there, you consolidate the transport back to your central fulfillment center. What do you achieve by that? You achieve a very important and very drastic reduction of the cost. That's one point, that's good, but the lead time is still questionable. So next step then is you have a second distribution center on the continent, and from this distribution center you send out the parcels on the continent. Asos just has built one in close to Berlin, very big one with a lot of items on stock and a lot of orders expected in the next year. And what we now have developed together with Asos, from A to Z, with customers like Asos and Zalando, we have developed an international return hub. That means that we have looked for a location which is quite close to the distribution center in Berlin. And what we do there in this returns hub is only returns, nothing else but returns. So all the parcels from Europe will be sent to this returns hub. And we do the processing there, and we do the trigger of the refund, which is then very fast, so the people get their money back very fast. And then we send it back to the fulfillment center, and from there, the products can be sold again. So what do you achieve by that? You achieve another very drastic reduction of cost, up to 50% if you would process it in another country. This is how it looks like. This is actually a picture where we have looked for a time where it's really, really quiet, because we had to ask all the people if they are okay with being on the picture. So we have chosen for a very quiet time. Usually the conveyors are really, really crowded. So what we have there is like a hub with several hundreds of workbenches. And the people there are highly trained, and they only do returns, nothing else. We do that 24/6, and with a capacity of 4 million items per month, and the capacity will be doubled next year. And the reason for that is because it's really very, very specialized. It's only doing returns and a very effective, very cost-effective way. So we are doing very normal processing, grading of the products up to the refurbishment of wedding dresses. So everything is possible there. And this is the way how, within the year, we have, coming from already several million articles, we have produced a growth of 100%. And this growth, at the same time, we keep on with the very high quality of the processing, and we are still working on optimizing the cost for this process. So what are the key learnings from this? First, regional distribution hubs improve the flow of orders and returns. The consolidation of transports, of returns and orders, cuts down the cost and the time. And a specialized return hub is really a game changer. And why do you do that with a service provider? Because you don't want to do all the investment, you don't want to handle all the people, and you need a lot of flexibility and scalability, especially during the peak times. Is that all? No, it's not all. Of course, there's more to it. There's also the possibility of having local processing, like you heard in the presentation from David from Zalando today in the morning. That means you can also have, of course, return centers in France, in Spain, in Switzerland, in Scandinavia. And there it's probably a little bit more expensive than in Poland, but it cuts down the time, transport time, and It's what you can do there. You can when the return is processed and there is an order behind that, you can directly ship it again. So you reduce the cost by that again dramatically. So in the end, it's all about speed. It's about convenience for the consumer, keeping the service level, especially in peak times, and cutting down the cost. And in the end, customer experience is the most important thing. So these are some of the clients that we have the privilege to work for. And this is our mission, to deliver this exceptional experience, to keep the customer happy. And I have one wish for you, that is, don't keep your customers waiting. Thank you very much.